Hey everyone! So today I was watching a movie called Cyberbully. It's the one with Emily Osment. It's actually a really good movie and it has a really good message in it. While I was watching it, I was doing quite a bit of thinking because I realized that there were things in the video that I could relate to, and it didn't make me feel good. It made me feel pretty gloomy actually. Maybe that's also because it's gloomy outside. I figured I would share my thoughts with you because I haven't done a talk video in a long time, and I want to do this now before I chicken out because this is going to be a pretty deep video. This is more than I've ever shared on the internet with anyone. So yeah, I'm excited. When I think back to school, there's good times, but when everyone says, you know, I loved grade school, I loved junior high, I loved high school, I mean, I guess I didn't love school, but grade school was fine. Junior high was not so fine, and high school I always was like, well, I didn't have the best high school experience that I wish I could have. I was a shy little kid. When I got to know someone, I would never shut up, and I was a ball of energy. So when I had good friends and those friends were with me, I would talk a lot and be really energetic and really animated. But when I was like kind of on my own and didn't know anyone, then I was really shy. Kindergarten and first grade were fine. Like, I had friends and everything was fine. We were just little kids playing and all was cool and fine and dandy and Lisa Frank stickers. Second grade is when kids started, I don't know if it was jealousy or they just felt like they wanted to start making fun of people and pick out people who stood out to them and try and bring them down. I'm not sure. It wasn't too bad because in second grade kids are still young and I don't think they're evil or anything or have a bad heart. They just like see other people getting teased and they're like, hey, why not tease people? It looks fun. I was a pretty smart kid. I was good at school, and I was also really passionate about art and drawing, coloring, stuff like that. So kids would always call me Miss Perfect and they'd kind of chant it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that people were associating something that I was proud of or something positive in my mind, like making it a negative and making me feel kind of like, oh, I don't know if I should be smart or if I should be into art or good at art or whatever you guys want to say. Third and fourth grade, people didn't really make fun of me for anything. Like, the Miss Perfect thing died down. But some of my friends did start making fun of other people, so I don't feel good about it, but I joined in. I guess I kind of thought, like, you know, I don't want it to be me, so, and it looks fun, quote unquote, because my friends are doing it, and, you know, we're getting a good laugh out of it, so there were people we would make fun of. And it just seemed like the norm because pretty much everyone would do it. I mean, you know, you're supposed to be nice to other people, but it's just like, it seemed harmless at the time. I always had best friends in grade school, but year after year they would move away and transfer to a different school, so that started to affect me. Like, all my best friends were moving away, and as the years went on and people were growing up and learning to be, well, I don't know, learning to be, but like they just turned into more judgmental people and more really cold-hearted people, and when I found myself more alone, it was harder to defend myself against them, I guess. Going on more into junior high years, like 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, it was easier for people to gang up on me because I didn't have like the close-knit friends that I had previous years, and my best friend was in a different grade, so I never had class with her. When I was really young, around 8 or 9, my parents ended up separating, and I just lived with my mom, and my dad lived in a place of his own, and I never told anyone in school that that had happened, even though people kind of hear it through the grapevine or kind of ask me about it. I never told them the truth. I always lied about it because everyone seemed to have perfect families and their parents were together and mine weren't, and I just didn't want to set myself apart from them any more than I already was, even though, I mean, it didn't help. Junior high, the girls obviously were going boy crazy, and maybe subconsciously I didn't because I didn't want to get hurt because I saw that my parents didn't stay together, and I didn't want that to be my future. I guess, like, I just didn't want boys to find me attractive, so I kind of went through a tomboy phase, and I just made it seem like I never wanted to, like, get married or have a boyfriend or anything. I just kind of put up a wall and made myself seem tough. I don't know that that was a good thing to do, but people just, like, didn't relate to me anymore because they're all, like, going through this crazy dating boys phase, and I was just like, can we please talk about something else and, like, talk about a TV show or about, like, a game or something. I just was the weirdest kid, quote unquote, apparently, because everyone else, they were developing cliques and they were being all girly, and they were going to dances with boys and all that stuff, and I just wasn't. I just liked to draw and to write and to do good in school and to hang out with my younger best friend. I think starting around 7th grade is when people just started getting, girls, they started getting really, really, really mean and treating me really badly and really kind of outcasting me, and it was just really, really hard to deal with. And I just remember sitting at my desk with beads, and I would make a necklace and bring my clay, and I would make, I remember making a turtle necklace one day, and just, like, it was kind of free time during a class, and I just was sitting there by myself and everyone else was talking, and I just looked around and I'm like, I wish I was cool. Like, I wished that people would talk to me and that I had something to talk about. I played sports, I was in Girl Scouts, so it's not like I didn't have people to talk to, but they weren't reliable. They didn't seem like they were true friends. They didn't seem like they were trustworthy, and given a situation where they were able to choose between, like, being nice to me or being cool and hanging out with other people who didn't really think I was cool, which I guess I wasn't cool. I was cool for being myself. I never wanted to give up who I was. I never wanted it to have to get to that, because even though I was really sad having to kind of hide who I was, or, like, not being appreciated for being who I was, I just had to hang on to hope that things would get better. So I was always really, really thin. I mean, not much has changed. That's just, like, how it is. But I remember 2 of the skinniest flat-chested girls would make fun of me for being skinny and flat-chested, and just because they were cool and they had friends to turn to, you know, it was okay for them, but it wasn't okay for me. I had a uniform at school, but I always wore pants because, like I said, I kind of went through a tomboy phase. Girls started calling me a lesbian. They go like this and make it look like a door swinging both ways or something and go pa-choo, pa-choo. I support equality 100%. I have absolutely nothing against gay people, lesbians, bis, trans, nothing. I think everyone should have the right to be themselves and not be judged for it and not be teased for it. But the fact that they are using this as a negative thing and using it to try and tear me down. Some of these people, you know, I really actually thought were my friends, and then they just kind of turned on me. I'm definitely straight. I've always been straight. Back when I was really little, I was boy crazy, and I would, like, try to kiss the neighborhood little boy. Once my parents separated, I think that I didn't want anything to do with boys for a really long time, and that kind of stayed with me up until pretty recently. So I remember getting a phone call from someone who I thought was my friend, and she asked me, like, hey, what do you think of this one girl in our class? And I was like, I don't know, she's kind of mean, actually, to me. And I hear laughing in the background, and they did, like, a 3-way call, but it was one of those calls where, like, her and this girl that she was asking about were actually at the same house and just on 2 different phones. Oh my gosh, I was, like, devastated. It was really embarrassing and really just low of them to do that. People would start being nice, and then they'd talk about girl stuff, and they're like, hey, so I started my period, like, last year. Have you started yet? And I'm like, no, blah, 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 I don't know. And then eventually when I did in, like, 8th grade, it got brought up again. And I was like, yeah, finally, yep, I have. I'm like, yeah, how cool. I just remember that being shouted to the entire lunchroom one day, like, Sarah started her period. Like, ugh, that was not fun. I mean, now I wouldn't be embarrassed, like, yeah, hey, I'm gonna go put a tampon in, hold on. At lunch, I did have a group of people that I would sit with, but they never wanted to hear what I would talk about because there was someone in a group that was really the center of attention. Like, she always wanted attention, and I know I love attention. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel and I love talking, but she would tell me, you need to be quiet because no one thinks what you're saying is important and no one cares and no one wants to hear you talk. And that would be repeated to me so many times throughout the course of the school year and at lunch, and I just started to believe that I wasn't interesting or I wasn't worth listening to. It kind of scarred me for a really long time. It hurt really bad. I would talk less and less each day from that point and just kind of sit and eat my lunch. Moving on to high school, it's not that people really made fun of me in high school, it's just I still didn't feel like I fit in. A lot of those same girls who sat with me in middle school were also going to the high school that I chose to go to. So I felt like I was stuck in a way and that I had to remain friends with them because I was kind of shy, so I felt like I had to have a group of people to hang out with just in case like I couldn't meet anyone. And I'm not saying that like we didn't have good times and that I was using anyone or anything. It's just like that was the only way I felt comfortable, was being around people who I had known already, and even though they were not always nice to me, there were groups of people who made friends with my friends and I didn't fit in with them. And I remember at lunch, like I had a specific lunch table I sat with and it got so bad to where I wouldn't be included, or they'd say something mean to me or something that just like really got to me, and I just remember having to leave that table for weeks or months, and I would go sit with upperclassmen, or at least people who were a grade ahead of me, who had played soccer with me or ran track with me or something, people that were nicer and seemed more mature, and I really appreciate them. I felt like a burden at that point, and I felt like maybe they didn't want me to sit with them even though they offered, but that meant the world to me, and I was extremely grateful to those people who kind of took me in and let me sit with them. And they actually tried to make conversation with me even though I was kind of shy and stuff, and still was like insecure about like me being interesting or anything, but I don't know, I really appreciated that. Like I said, high school wasn't the greatest for me, and there's a lot of memories that I probably pushed out of my mind or am repressing and just don't know, like I kind of don't have a ton of memories about high school because there were a lot of dark times. I just wanted people to talk to, and I'd be sitting in class like drawing, and like, I don't know, half or 3/4 of the class, they were having a conversation with each other and with the teacher, and I just like so badly wanted to be included in that, and I never was. Like the teachers, a lot of the teachers always chose to join in with the popular cool kids, and I just was not there. In my mind, there's no way in or no way to change anything. There were days I would go to school where I looked so sad. I would be at the point where you know you're going to cry at some point in the day, and people can probably tell that there's tears behind your eyes, but you try not to cry as much as you can, and I would just sit there in class like every single day and look like that. It sucked. It really sucked. I'm so glad that I'm past that and I don't have to go back. If I was the person I am now, starting middle school or starting high school, I feel like I'd have so many more friends and I wouldn't have let people get to me so much. But the thing is, everything happens for a reason, and I think that I had to go through all of those terrible times and rough times in order to grow as a person and in order to become a stronger person. The most important thing that I want to stress in this video is that it gets better. If you put up with bad times and people making fun of you or not fitting in, you're gonna find people in the future who love you, who care about you, who think you're interesting, who want to talk to you, who want to hang out with you. If you can hang in through the tough years, or even if it's a tough week or month, if you can hang in and get through that, you're going to be so much stronger, and you're going to learn to appreciate what you get in the future or what you have now if you're already through that tough time. And it's going to be great, and you're going to become so much more confident, and you're going to not care what people think. You're going to just be yourself all the time and not hide it from people, not shut down and be shy. You're just going to thrive and be an amazing, wonderful person, and you're going to be yourself. And people are going to appreciate that. I know that people have gone through a lot worse than what I have, but this is the worst in my mind. This is the worst that I know and have experienced. Never wanted to take my life. I never wanted to hurt other people. So I don't know how that is. If you are someone who is so upset and just so defeated that you don't want to be in this world anymore, just stop and think about the people who actually do care about you and the people who love you. And if you don't think that anyone does care about you or does love you, then think about the future. And even though you might have to wait a little while, I don't know how long, it's going to be different for everyone, but just remember that in the future you're going to find people who just love you for who you are and want to be around you and never want you to leave their lives. You're gonna find your place in this world. Trust me, it gets better. It will get better. You just have to, sometimes have to be patient. For those of you who maybe aren't as nice to people as you could be, just remember that it really, really can get to someone, and you might think it's all fun and games and you might think it's cool, but some people, it affects them for their entire life. And even though I'm better, I'm okay, there's not a lot of days where I sit and reminisce about the past and get all upset about it because I remember bad times. Even though I've moved on for the most part, there's still days though, like, you know, me watching that movie today. There's still days I remember how painful it was, and I just kind of brings tears to my eyes, honestly. I know this sounds really cliche, but if I've helped one person by making this video, then it's definitely worth it. Never forget that there's something that you're good at, and there's always going to be someone who looks up to you or thinks you're the coolest person ever, even if they never say it. Finally, I want to thank you guys for watching my videos and making me feel cool, because when I started YouTube, when I started making videos and people watched them and listened to what I said and commented and wanted to talk to me and interact with me, that made me feel like the coolest person alive. And I started opening up a lot more in my personal social life and talking to the friends I had more and like kind of branching out and making new friends. It has to do with growing and overcoming the past, and just like time heals wounds in a lot of cases. So just time and becoming more mature and growing up a little helped, but also having a support and a rock in YouTube and with my viewers helped me a lot. I just feel cool now. So thank you guys. I love you guys so much. And if you have any experiences you want to share with me, you can leave them in the comment section. If you want to talk to me more privately, I have an inbox, so you can message me on there. I apologize if I don't check it very often, but I'm going to try. And if you have any topics to request me to talk about in an upcoming video, let me know. Check out all of my links in the down bar. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and you guys have a great rest of the day. I love you guys so much. Bye.